Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a blessed weekend. I got something on my chest that I need to get off. Um, I have some other video topics coming, but before I go into those video topics, I gotta get something off my chest. My son just made my 60-year-old just made contact with his dad today. Me and him was having a talk, and to make a long story short, his dad has not been in his life. He's only seen him one time throughout his whole 16 years of his life. Um, and I tried to make some attempts to get his father in his life, but he chose not to be. The door always had the door open, and he chose not to come through it. Well, needless to say, his dad blames me for, ironically, for him not being in his life, and I think he's just scapegoating and trying to shift the responsibility on me when I actually attempted to get him in his life, and he didn't want anything to do with him or me, to make a long story short. So I was talking to my son, and I was like, well, what if because he's at the age where he can make the decision or whether he wants his father in his life or not. And I told him, I said, well, you're at the age where you can make that decision. It's up to you, whether you want a relationship with your dad. Because he's at the age where, his dad doesn't have to come through me to get to him. And so I asked him, I said, if your dad wanted to be in your life, would you want to have a relationship with him? And he was like, well, I don't know. He said, um, he's a little angry, as, which is typical. He said, well, I want to know, his dad has other kids. He said, well, I want to know my siblings. So he decided to look his dad up on Facebook, and his dad has several. He had more. Apparently, had more than one Facebook page. So he looked him up, and he's a barber by trade. So he called him, left a message, and everything. And his dad calls him back, and they seemed to have a pretty good conversation. He tried to throw me in there again, which kind of upset at me. And I see that when we were looking, but back to the Facebook page, we were looking on his Facebook page, and I think his dad has six other children, as far as I know. And he's on making comments on the Facebook page about his daughter and her smile and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay. My thought was, how do you pick? I don't understand this now, brothers out there. Let me know what you guys think. I don't get it. How do you pick and choose? My question is, how do you pick and choose which children you're going to be a part of? Which children that you choosing to be okay, I'll be in these kids' life. Like, you got multiple kids by different mothers. How do you pick and choose which kids you're going to be life that you're going to be a part of? How do you do that? How do you say, okay, I'll be in these kids' life over here, but I don't want nothing to do with that one because I don't like his mom, or whatever excuse you decide to come up with? I don't understand that. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand, how do you pick and choose? Because, mind you now, he's got these other babies' mamas, and he didn't marry any of these women that he had kids by. He didn't marry any of them. He wasn't married to any of them. I don't know what kinds of relationships he had with these women. But he didn't marry any of these women. Okay, so he's, wasn't married to any of them. So, he's on Facebook talking about, his other kids like he's in their life. But then he chose not to be in my son's life for 16 years. So I just don't, and now mind you, I never done anything to this guy. Never done anything to him before you guys come back want to say you pushed him away. No, I didn't. I didn't do anything to push this man away. If anything, I had the door open. I talked to him back in 2008 when we went to court. And um, he said that he would come see my son. We talked about it, and I said okay. Never came around, never showed up. He might have wound up moving out of town. And I'm asking his former employer and everything where he seen him, or where he's at, and after a while gave up, because I'm like, at the end of the day, you can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do. You a grown man. I'm not about to be trying to hunt you down and try to force you to be in your son's life. You can't make someone do something they don't want to do. He's a grown man. He's an adult. So he could make this conscious decision or whether he wanted to be in his son's life. And he chose not to. But my son calls him, today. They had a decent conversation and asked him how he was doing in school and everything like that. And he seemed like he was pretty happy to hear from him. So, and then he blames me, which pisses me off. I'm not going to front. It makes me angry. Not going to tell you what I said. I'm be honest, it wasn't nice words, but I didn't say it around my son. But the thing is, how do you get it out? We're looking on his Facebook page, and he's got other children on there that he's talking about, as if he's in their life. And I'm like, okay, I don't get that. I said, how do you pick and choose which kid's life you want to be a part of? Oh, I'll be in these kids' life, but I'm not going to be in this one. Which I never done anything to him. I could see if I was one of those women that be popping off at the mouth and, yada, 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 giving him hard times. But I didn't. It's like he hasn't even been around for me to do anything. For a long time, I didn't even know where this man was. It's like, and then when I talked to him back in 2008, I opened the door. I opened the door for him to come to see his son. And then the last time we went to court for child support, the one and only time that he ever saw his son, I told him right there, I said, it's not just about the money. Well, he was actually walking away when I said it. I said, it's not just about the money. I said he needs a father. He needs to know who his father is. And I said, it's not just about the money. Went through one ear out the other. Asked me for my phone number. I gave him my phone number. Never called me to set up arrangements to come see his son. Well, now my son is at the age, he has his own phone. I said, well, it's up to you now, babe. I said, that's between you and him. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You want to have a relationship with him. And actually, I'm actually encouraging him to. I actually encouraged him to call his father. He said, you think I should? I said, yeah, go ahead. Call him. See what he says. And I said, I said, that's up to you. That's between you and him. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But his father steady trying to tell him that he said, on your mom's side. And I said, now I got really mad. I said, well, he got to leave my name out of it. He needs to keep my name out of his mouth. I said, I don't have anything to do with that. I said, I never tried to stop you, and that just makes me very angry. And I just think that he's just trying to blame me for him not being in his son's life. He doesn't want, he wants to shift the responsibility on me instead of being a man and fessing up and saying, man, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, whatever. But he wants to scapegoat and put it all on me, which is typical. It's typical. That's what a lot of men do. It's typical. But guys, if in the comment section, let me know. I don't still understand how a guy can, if you got multiple children by multiple women, how in the heck do you pick and choose which children's life you're gonna be a part of? Well, I'll be in these kids' life, but I'm not gonna be in these kids' life over here. When you never married any of the women that you had kids by. And some of them he didn't even have relationships with. So I just don't get it. How do you pick and choose? And it's just not right. It's just not right. You know, he wrong for that. It's not right. You know. Well, I'm not gonna be over in this child's life over here, but I'm gonna be over here with this one, or with these kids, as if one child is better than the other. Well, they all were conceived out of wedlock, so what's the difference? That would make sense to me if you married a couple of other ladies that you had kids by. That would make more sense to me. That would be more logical. It would make more sense. Okay, when you were married to this woman and you all had these kids within the context of a marriage, okay, I can understand why you're probably more have more of a bond with those kids than you would with mine or some other kids. That would make more sense to me. But even if he did have a relationship with a couple of these women, he still didn't marry them. And I hear, I didn't find out a lot of things about him until after I got pregnant, unfortunately. And I heard he wasn't in any of those kids' life. At one time, he wasn't in any of the kids' lives. So, but I just noticed that on his Facebook, how he was talking about the daughter as if he was in her life. And I'm like, oh, wow. How do you pick and choose? Really? So, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about that. Please be nice and no judgment, please. There's no need for that. Um, just had to get that off my chest. I was kind of upset about that, but on the flip side, I'm glad that my son connected with his dad. I'm glad that he got in contact with his dad, and I'm glad he said it was really important to him that he wanted to get to know his other siblings, and so hopefully his dad will do the right thing and set him up, introduce him to his other siblings. That way he's got at least a couple of sisters. So I would really hate for him to on down the road to run into one of his sisters and be dating one of his sisters and not know that's one of his sisters. That's crazy. But it happens all the time. So he wants to know who his siblings are. Because right now the only sibling he has is I only had two sons, so he's real close to his brother, um, on my end, but that's the only sibling he knows. So that's not cool. He needs to know who his siblings are. So hopefully his dad will stand up and do the right thing and introduce him to his other siblings. That would be a wonderful thing. So I just had to get that off my chest. But let me know what you guys think. Got some more interesting video topics coming up. This is Sweet Jill.